Hey, what's going on? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and I know that we had some difficulty with our live stream today, and we usually do this stream on Thursdays, and I don't know if it's internet speed, I don't know if it's our special internet setup that we have for living on the road. It's just not cooperating with the live stream, so I don't really know what's going on. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to pre-record it. I am going to upload it, but we're going to do it as a premiere so that we can still have the live chat. This video is very important to me because, first of all, it's a sponsored video. I don't typically, I need to do more of them, but we don't do very many of them. But when something's really cool, and I think it's really cool, and I want to share it with you, I'm going to share it. So this is when we start talking about this whole like music business deal. Like you saw the original, you saw the thumbnail, right? I think a lot of people get really kind of worked up and they say all the taglines on the internet. Oh, music industry is dying. This is whatever, whatever. And I feel like, a lot of people go on and on about how artists don't get paid enough, how Spotify is screwing everybody, how iTunes is screwing everybody, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I don't feel that way. Yes, the music industry has changed, but when we look at what the music business, at least the business side of it is, it's really just distribution. Basically, what you would do is you would sign at a conventional record deal, you would literally sign your life away. I mean, I'm really generalizing here, but you would sign your life away and then you would get a small cut of the profits, and the music business, the music industry would be in charge of distributing your music. You would write a song, you would share it and they would share it with the world for you, right? That's basically what a record deal is. It's the distribution of the thing that you created. The problem is the amount of your life that you have to sign away. Of course, that's different for every deal, but that's the thing that everybody hates. And then, of course, when you put it on iTunes or you put it on Spotify, you only get a tiny little piece, etc., etc., etc. The bad thing about the way the music business has been for a long time, and I think the good thing about where we're going with it is I personally think that it's putting the new music business is putting the power of distribution back in the hands of people. I'll give you an example. This was probably like 10 years ago or so, probably more than that, probably 15 years ago. I was in a different industry. We're in the power sports business and we're dirt bike stuff. And this isn't music, it's TV, but it's kind of the same thing. We were working very closely with some very large cable networks to try to get a TV show made. It was going to be one of those like reality kind of shows, like, building motorcycles kind of shows. We got really close and they pulled the plug on it. And I was super bummed out. I was like, this close to having a TV show. Well, fast forward 10 years and I started a YouTube channel and now I have this, right? Does it pay as much as the Discovery Channel or one of those cable networks? No, but it has put the power of being able to distribute the stuff that we want to distribute, talk about our products, be able to share our pickups, be able to share knowledge and all those sorts of things. It puts it back in to my hands and I have 100% total control over it, which I think is really, really cool. So that kind of thing has started to happen with the music industry. So what I wanted to show you was this app called, let's just do this really quick. I wanted to show you this app called Distro Kid. There's going to be a link in the description of this video, but basically what this is for as little as $20 a year, you can enroll in this thing, and if you have music sitting on a hard drive somewhere, this gives you the opportunity and the way they put the distribution in your hands. So basically, and I'll show you in a minute how it works. Basically, you can distribute to Apple Music, what we got here, Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Pandora, Amazon, Instagram, YouTube, Tidal, iHeartRadio, Deezer, and a bunch of other stuff. There's tons of stuff you don't even know about. There's actually, I mean, we all know Apple Music and we all know Spotify, but there's actually bunches of little smaller ones too, where you would be able to distribute your music out to the world. You can do very, very, very cool things, like, okay, so here it is. Keep 100% of your earnings. You get paid monthly. I'm just reading off the screen. You can see it here. It's $20 a year to upload unlimited albums and songs. And I want to say it's $40 a year to do like 2 bands. They have a couple of different like membership levels. So basically you can pay a little more, and let's say you have 2 different titles that you work under, like your solo title plus your band. You can have multiple bands. You can have up to 5. There's a bunch. There's a couple of cool things here. First of all, it distributes it legally. There's ways that you can, they have little add-ons and stuff, so you can actually make, and I'll show you in a minute, you can make royalties anytime your songs are played on YouTube. You know, like, for example, YouTube sucks because I can't play a cover song, because then I have to share my YouTube royalties with whoever wrote the song. However, if that person is you, then you get to make money on the other side. You get to be the other person on the other side, which is very, very cool. You can actually split your revenue. So let's say you and a buddy wrote a song together. You can actually split that revenue automatically. Super cool stuff. Super cool stuff. It'll automatically, there's basically a way that you can, when you upload to all these various stores, you know, all the various music stores, like, you know, iTunes or Apple Music and Spotify and all that, where it will actually give you, you can put credits to all your musicians. You can upload like live lyrics, almost like karaoke sort of, so that they can see it. That's a big deal, so that people can see it, they can use it, and then when they use it, you get royalties off of it. Super cool, man. Very, very cool. And it also, you'll get Spotify verified. There's ways this will help you through the process of getting further into the Spotify ecosystem. I don't want to get totally into it, because basically you have to click through and do a bunch of stuff that I can't really show you. You kind of have to go do it yourself. But once you do that, it puts you into the Spotify ecosystem, and I don't want to say it skips steps, but it streamlines it for you so that you're a normal person. You have some songs on a hard drive. Boom, you're on Spotify, you're on Amazon, and you're on iTunes. I think it's so cool. If during this portion, because I didn't want to break this up with a bunch of questions and stuff, if you put in a super chat during this time, I will get to it in the comments, like, because we're going to do a normal live chat when we do this as a premiere. So it'll be sort of like live, but it won't be live. You know what I mean? So if you throw some super chats in there, I will get to them. They won't be me speaking, but they will be me talking to you in the stream, okay? This is just a weird way of doing it, but I wanted to get this content out today, and I wanted to give you something where it wasn't like, oh crap, we just got a live stream screwed up over and over and over. You know what I mean? Like, so we wanted to at least do something. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you. So let me show you really quick. Let me show you really quick how to actually do this. And then we're going to get to our normal FAQs in just a minute, like we normally do. I was going to do this just the same way. So what we've got here is, this is when you click the upload and you're about to upload a song. So I'm just going to walk real briefly through this just so you get an idea how easy this is. You can see all the services that you can upload to: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, TikTok. TikTok's a bigger deal than you think, and I know that a lot of people make fun of it and etc., but it's a bigger deal than you think. Google Play, Amazon, Pandora, iHeartRadio. You can see all these ones. Some other ones you may not have heard of, and you can click on this right here and it'll actually show you the rest of them. I will continue to scroll so you see at my face. You can do one song, you can do a bunch of songs all at the same time. Here's your artist band name, the release date. You can actually do a pre-order. So if it hasn't come out yet, maybe this is further down the road when you've got a little bit of an audience and you want people to, build anticipation for your music. Do you have a record label? Are you unsigned? If you're unsigned, make up a record label. Make your own. That's what I'm saying. This whole thing, and that sounds stupid, but when you're talking about personal branding, as a person who has some music on a hard drive and all of a sudden you want to make yourself into a brand, that's important. So yeah, you don't have a record company, but if you identify yourself as one and then you have a brand to refer to every time you write music, that's important. Album cover, they give you all of this is the other kind of cool thing I like about this, is see here all this little fine print. We won't get into all of it, but basically what it does is it tells you how to create your artwork correctly, the correct dimensions and stuff, so that it will all go out to everybody. And then you won't have this problem where it's like, well, it made it on Amazon, but it didn't make it on Apple Music, but it didn't make it on Spotify because I had a problem and my image was wrong, so it only went out to some of the stuff. If you follow the directions closely, they will like kind of do away with all of those problems, which I think is really, really cool. So also here, when you title your tracks, how to do it so that it goes out to all the stores and that you don't have problems. Uppercase, lowercase, do we allow symbols, all that kind of stuff. It puts it all in there. Really, really cool. Of course, there's your audio file, which is the actual music. And then it tells, you can talk about who wrote the stuff. You can put all your credits in there. And then down here in this yellow section, there is some extras that you can add. So this is where YouTube money. So you can share revenue when YouTube sees that somebody else used it in your video. What's cool about this, and I'm just going to put this out there for you. This is really interesting. What if you have a bunch of friends that are YouTube creators, like myself, possibly, or somebody else, where if you click that box and you do that upgrade, then let's say you could say, hey dude, and then you could go sell your songs. You could go to somebody and say, yo, please use my song in a video. Share the revenue with me on that video, and you could actually promote yourself that way. It's pretty cool. And there's a couple of things here. There's where you can actually hit a button to where you can get paid for all your royalties, even if you're not a member later. There's a bunch of different stuff. It's really, really cool. I just wanted to share this with you. I think it's something that is, I'm all about putting the power back into the people that make the music. And I know that this is a technical channel all about guitar stuff. But one of the things that people get lost in all the time is we don't talk nearly enough about how to actually create the stuff and get it out to the world. I keep saying I want to do more things about recording and about microphones and about all this kind of stuff. And people frankly on my channel don't like it. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I kind of don't care. Like, I want to share the creative side of making music. I know that we are a guitar tech channel, but I think without the follow through and without talking about the follow through, then it just becomes a bunch of nerds in bedrooms everywhere, and it's not really creating. Arguing about guitar gear isn't creative. So take it to the next level and give people the power to put their stuff that they make out into the world. I think it's really cool for $20 a year. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video. I will tell you, they paid me to make this video. I'll just be 100% clear on that. And they give me a little, I don't know, it's a couple bucks every time somebody signs up. So I'm going to be 100% honest on that. The cool part is that it's only $20 a year, and you get a discount if you use that link too. So just being 100% honest on that. They approached me like a year ago. I made a video about it back then. They approached me about a month ago or 3 weeks ago and said, hey, do you want to do another one? I was like, yeah, I think I do, because as the world changes, we're all home, we're all stuck at home, we're all, you know what I mean? And all we're doing is sitting around playing guitar. And why don't you do something with it? Why don't you turn it into some dough? And I think this is the cheapest, easiest, most straightforward way to do that. That gives you the most bang for your buck as far as like the share of what you get out of it and all that stuff. Go read the fine print for yourself. I'm not a lawyer, obviously, so I'm not gonna tell you what's included as far as like the legal side of it and stuff. So go read all that, obviously. But I think it's pretty cool. And it's a low cost of entry, and it gets to give you, no matter how beginner of a music producer you are, whether you just have a couple of songs on a hard drive or you have tons of stuff and you've been doing this for a long time, if it can let you dip your toe into figuring out how to take your creativity and turn it into some dough, I think it's a really cool thing. So anyway, I wanted to share that with y'all. I think it's really cool. So let's get into some of our Q&As from Patreon. So these are people that have gone over to patreon.com /Dylan Talks Tone, and they have left these questions throughout the week, and we're going to talk about a couple of them. So Nick asks about Gibson wiring methods. Okay, so he says, I purchased some new pots for an LP Junior, and I looked up some wiring diagrams. There's way more than I expected. Can you talk about the differences between like the dark circuit, the modern circuit versus the vintage circuit? Aren't they all the same, like different pathways? He says different pathways leading to the same destination. So, and this is why I wanted to use this software, because it helps me to be able to explain this stuff better to you. And it's supposed to be live, and I'm able to do this live, but whatever. Anyway, we're doing it now. So let's go ahead and look at a picture of some vintage wiring, vintage 50s style Les Paul versus modern. If you look at the modern, you're going to see that the capacitor is hooked directly to the same lug on the volume pot as the pickup itself. On the modern one, it's on the switch. That doesn't seem like a big difference, but what that does is on the 50s, well, let's talk about the modern one first. On the 50s style one, or on the modern style one, basically what that does, when you put that on the bridge pickup, the signal directly from the bridge pickup, it is a more direct path to the volume pot, basically. And what it does is when you turn the volume down, as the volume gets closer to zero, you lose some high frequencies as you turn the volume down. And so on that modern circuit, a lot of people will use a volume mod. Personally, I don't like it. I just use a regular modern circuit all the time, and I use that tone change as it comes down as like a feature of my playing. So let's look at this again and look at the 50 style one. See how it's in the middle and it goes directly from the switch? That change, that small change, makes it to where the tone basically interacts with the volume pot. It's the easiest way to say it is it interacts with the volume. The tone circuit interacts with the volume pot more. So when you turn the volume down, the tone doesn't change as much, but when you turn the tone knob down, the volume changes. It's sort of backwards. And the other thing I don't like about it is when you have it in the middle and you turn one of them down, it kills both pickups at the same time. I'm not a big fan of it. I actually don't like it that both pots affect each other more. I think that's more annoying and harder to play than just having a little bit of your treble go away on the modern style. So I'm a modern fan. There's a lot of people that are 50s fans, but I would also suggest to you that 50s people like it because it says 50s on the front and it says vintage on the front, and the functionality of it to me is not as user friendly. That is my opinion, but that's my opinion. I'm just gonna say that's my opinion. let's see here. Let's see. Carlos says, I can't find an explanation on this online that's quite dumbed down enough with a treble tone pot like a Reverend bass contour or GNL's deal. How does it work? This question came in very late, and I didn't get a chance to put together a little graphic for you to explain it, and I want to do that. So we're going to do this again, and I'm going to do exactly what I did with the Gibson thing, but I'm going to show you a diagram and show you how it works. Okay, that will come the next time we do this, whether that be live or pre-recorded like this and a premiere with the little comment section. Okay, so if you have questions about that stuff, put it in there and we'll make sure that we do it. Another question he had was, with the Alumitone, is it low noise just because it's a single turn coil, or is the step-up transformer have something to do with it? And the question is absolutely yes. And yes, the transformer has something to do with it because it isolates noise. Transformers by nature, if they are a double coil, they are not noise canceling, but isolating, if you will. So yes, that's why they're quiet. Very, very good question. Very cool. Let's see what else. Well, I guess that's it. From here, and then of course, let me just check one other place. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is, because this came up in a previous stream or a previous Patreon question, and I didn't get to answer it, so I want to talk about it. We had a Patreon viewer ask us, patron ask us about string tensions on different guitars. So let's say you're using an alternate tuning in a guitar. He was mentioning like Social Distortion, a couple other bands that have these weird alternate tunings. Is the neck going to be strong enough, or is it going to be, is it going to work? First of all, necks can take way, way more than you think. And if they are constructed correctly and the guitar is set up right, you pretty much don't have to worry about any tuning issues or you're not going to break the guitar. Okay, it's way stronger than you think. However, when you do alternate tunings, you are going to introduce different setups. You can't just put strings on a guitar of a particular gauge and tune it to a different tuning and expect the guitar to be set up correctly. So, let me show you what I mean. Let's look at just this quick chart of string tensions. Did you realize that a set of 10s is 94 pounds of tension on your guitar neck? See that at the top? 11s, 114 pounds, 12s, 131 pounds, 13s, 155 pounds. Now this is for a particular brand of string, and it all varies a little bit depending on brands of strings and all that sort of stuff, but I just want to use this as an example. Now if you go to Dadgad Tuning, now Dadgad Tuning is some of the strings are tuned lower and some of the strings are tuned higher in pitch, but most of them actually are tuned lower. So, actually they're in Dadgad, I guess they're all tuned lower, aren't they? But look at the difference. You've got 30 pounds of pressure, of tension difference in that tuning. So conversely, in some tunings, if you're tuning up, you are going to introduce more tension. Here's the thing. That 30-pound difference in tension is enough to completely change your setup on your guitar. So you're going to have to, not only with like if you're changing string gauges And this is where you have to do research on the particular string brand that you're using. So let's say you wanted to, let's use an easy one. Let's say you were going to tune a guitar down a full step, okay? Could you go from 10s to 11s and maintain that basic same amount of string tension? That's where you could actually physically go and do research, like Dadgad and a couple of the other brands have their string tension gauge, their string tensions written out like that, like we just saw. And then you would be able to put a set together that would mimic the same string tension, so your guitar setup wouldn't change. But as you saw, the same string gauge at a different tuning completely changes how much pressure is exerted on the guitar. So you would actually have to compensate for that in your neck relief. That would definitely have to change with 30 pounds of pressure, for sure. You will feel that in how much you play the guitar, or in how high the action is and how much neck relief there is. 30 pounds is a lot. I mean, when you consider that's like 20% or almost 30% of the whole. So, 20%. Very, very interesting. Very interesting stuff. You guys, thanks a lot. I know I appreciate the patience today with the goofed up live stream, and I hope that this still works for you. Obviously, we've been chatting the whole time, and you can still, super chat, and you can still ask questions and all that kind of stuff when we do these premieres. If we have bad data problems, which we will have from time to time because of the way our life is, this might be the way we do it. I kind of like this, actually. It's kind of cool. So thanks for hanging out. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate everybody's support, and again, your patience as well. You can go over to patreon.com/DylanTalksTone and put in your questions for next week at any time, and I will get to them. The other major thing I wanted to talk about today, which we almost forgot. This coming Sunday is the 26th. We're going to do a live Zoom class. And I don't care if I have to drive to the top of a mountain and have good cell phone reception to make this work. I am going to do it. So this will work. It will not fail. I will make sure that it happens. It's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. We are going to do our next class in our guitar setup course. And it is going to be all about intonation. I would suggest to you, if you go over to patreon.com, you sign up for it, I would suggest that if you have a guitar that you're working on, and use a device that has a camera and a microphone so that you can turn on your camera and your microphone, and we can all hang out, and you can have a guitar there, and you can adjust your stuff, and we can work together to get your guitar set up. Intonation is a tough one for some people, but I think it's going to be awesome. So make sure you check that out, patreon.com/DylanTalksTone. And the other thing is, I said that I was going to give away some pickups today, and that was also in the thumbnail. So what we're going to do is I am going to basically, when we premiere this, I'm going to give it away during the premiere. That's how we're going to do that, so that still happens, because I want that to be kind of a live dynamic thing. So yeah, that's how that's going to work. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for hanging out. I hope everybody has a good one, and we will talk to you very soon.